the ones that really get it the worst is like the child molesters, right? And the people that hurt older people, like them white boys, and it ain't just white boys by far. Now they're gonna check it all, and and that's why they try to keep it quiet in Ferguson. In prison, they don't really just announce what you're in there for. You have to send a kite home, and then they start screening that now because it got so bad that they were paying protection, like they had to pay to be in there, like every week, bust a 60. They was having to spend that money, and it was real bad in the 90s.
When it comes to all the units you've been on, if you don't mind, just as educators, where are you been? You mentioned Ferguson, of course. You've been
right. I started out on Telford. Now I can't keep them in an order now because I don't remember.
Don't worry about the order. Yeah.
I was on Telford. I was on Ferguson. I was on FM Robertson. I was on Clement's unit, and I was on Darrington unit. The Rock and D.
Yeah, Rock and D.
You know,
Rock and Robin.
I love that unit because it was so many black women on that unit. I loved when I got there. I loved it.
You ever get a chance to holler at a couple, one, two?
Yeah, I had a problem with that though. I talked to a lady on Telford unit. People that's watching know what I'm talking about. And I kind of got myself in a problem and got shipped off. That's the reason they shipped me off Telford unit.
Damn. I was gonna ask you what was the best unit, or at least the easiest to do.
After I got out of prison, I went and seen her too.
I've seen it, exactly. What was the worst one as far as if you, out of all the units you've been on, the one that you just like, yeah, nah, that was hell?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, they all had their own hell. Like Telford unit was my first unit, so it was insane, you know, as a youngster getting in the game like that. But it gave me my blueprint. You understand the saying? It made me understand what was going on and what I had coming. From there, like I said, I know I went to Clement's. Clement's, it was terrible because they racist. It wasn't the inmates that was racist. It was them guards, man. Them guards was terrible, man. When you get off the bus there, they go to, oh my God, man. They start with that. We had, you know, this is the things the guards say to the inmates. It's a bunch of us in there and we're sitting in this holdover in the back by the back gate. And that's where they bring you all into. And then they start talking. Yeah, we had more plantations here in Brazoria County than we've had than anywhere in the state of Texas. Like they're very proud about that. So that's where I had my worst was when I had to battle the guards. You understand? Yeah. So I could fight the inmates back. I couldn't fight the guards back or I'm gonna lose everything and, you know, possibly my life down there. Like I told you before when I made the interviews, the guards were so rough on me, they would throw feces on me. You understand what I'm saying? They would give the inmate next to me a Johnny sack or my Johnny sack where I'm starving all because I wasn't racist. All because I wasn't racist. Now from that unit, I went to Ferguson. Ferguson unit I went to Darrington and I loved it again because Darrington was insane. Like there was so many black guards there that it was just laid back. Now it was still prison, but it wasn't as hard as the other units because, you know, brothers they ain't tripping, man. You know, we ain't not like them white boys was, man. But anyway, so from there I went to Ferguson. And Ferguson, that unit was segregated. Now that was the only unit in the state of Texas that was actually segregated. Like over here was the the brothers, over here was the Mexicans, and over here was the white boys. And like I said, if there ain't very many white boys, they don't get much in there, right? So the white boys' bench was about this long, and it was like 4 stiff white boys there. So they got their bench. The Mexicans' benches was lined up on Ferguson, TV here, benches and benches. Make a long story short.
Hold on, do the white boys have a TV?
No, they barely had a seat in this situation. You know what I mean? And that's another thing. I remember going in there and my first time on Ferguson, I didn't know it was segregated. I knew that it was gonna be like every other unit, but I didn't know it was like that. Like it was segregated. And I remember me sitting in that penitentiary. I remember after I got my rep, you know, after we got in there, we had some situations and I handled them. And after the situations, people started noticing, hey, that's Red Dawg from, oh yeah, that's, you know, whatever. Make a long story short, I was accepted immediately.
Yeah.
Okay. And I remember that no white boys ever sat on that bench in the front where the brothers sat. And I remember that to this day. I remember the warden coming back over there and snatching me up and telling me, man, how in the world are you doing this?
Yeah.
He said, I've been here like 9 years. And in these 9 years, or whatever the time frame it was, I don't remember exactly the years he said, but he said, ain't never been a white man sit on that bench. And some of these things I'm young, I don't really care about that. You know what I mean?
The history.
That wasn't nothing. I'm bringing that up because I was accepted because I'm real. I'm solid. When the people that put me down and brought me into this game, this lifestyle, they didn't just put me, it wasn't a popularity thing to do that. They had to know that you was real. You was solid. You was one of them. You just had pale skin.
Let me ask you, what was the worst thing that sticks with you that you probably seen in prison?
Oh, man. The worst thing I've seen in prison was a woman getting raped right in front of us. Matter of fact, on Telford unit, I've seen 3 women get raped.
Dang, hold on, wait.
I remember their names clearly. I'd rather not put them on the internet, but just know I watched them.
Can you speak on,
them. I watched one woman getting raped. She was so fine, I'll never forget it. Her name was, not her name, she was so fine, let's just say that.
Yeah.
And, in prison, they wear these gray pants, and these little blue stripe down them, and she filled them pants out. So everybody was kind of always trying to shoot at her or whatever, right? She was definitely fine, beautiful, fine woman. And I remember we was in there serving. I remember exactly how the riot kicked off. Closed custody come through. That's on Telford unit when the closed custody used to come out. Now they don't let them come out. But anyway, a little Mexican dude there slid a Mexican of milk. The black dude behind the Mexican wanted the extra milk. Once you give somebody something, everybody wants something. They're all hungry over there. We all, And that's what it started over, bro. I never forget it.
Over milk.
Over a milk. And they went to riot in there. When I say it went crazy, like the world, it went insane in there. Bloom, 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 everything flying, stuff going crazy. Look, man, I'm talking, they believe it or not, Mexicans had knives on them, and I don't know, man. It just went insane at that moment, right? But I remember I was a server, and then in TDC, you were different. Like the servers that work in the kitchen, they're in population. The guys coming through are closed custody, but once a riot kicks off, you have to if you don't want to go to closed custody or medium custody, then you have to back up and sit down, right? We know the routine. We're gonna get locked up too. At that time. We call it locked up when you're locked up.
Yeah.
But I remember I was serving the beans. I'm slapping beans. Now I didn't give a damn. I'll give everybody something. Because hell, I don't care about that. But again, on the milk side, he couldn't give everybody something because there's this counted number of cartons. You understand? Yeah. But hell, I'd put another thing of beans there. But anyway, they were going at it. Boom, 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 fighting. And I remember that lady, that fine woman. There's a bean slide in prison. Behind the line, you got this bean slide which takes the trays. You slide them through, right? Not the trays, but the pans, right? And it's that she was so fine that she was scared. She couldn't get her keys off her neck. Right? So I was sitting there, and she tried to go through there, and she had enough wagon she was dragging. She wasn't going through that bench. That hole. She was stuck there. And everybody at the time, ain't nobody. I didn't give a damn about her. I'm worried about what's going on because they're going to war in here. Yeah. And all of a sudden, one of them just jumped over and right there, bro, right in front of us, snatched her pants off, pulled his Johnson out and went at it. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. It really hurt my heart. It hurt my soul. It wasn't the fact that it was. It was the fact that I'm not with the man, bro.
Yeah, is she screaming? Is she struggling?
I don't know what the top end was doing. The back end was at us. She was on the other side of the wall.
Damn.
Trying to crawl through there. I told you the bean slot's about like this. And she was trying to get through there, but he yanked her off. And not just that, another dude came in and listen, at that time, I really wanted to get up. I felt like killing him. I wanted to kill somebody. Like to see a woman go through that, it don't make a real man, happy. And but there was no way, bro. There was nothing I could do. You hear me? I would have died in there. They were going to war in there. It wasn't like you're thinking. It wasn't just a couple of men fighting. It was a whole 100 men in there going at it. And it involved everybody started fighting. It wasn't just blacks and Hispanics. It was Everybody, everybody was over there was fighting. Whoever might have been in there. And they're shooting gas. You know, they got them little gas guns. Boom, they're blowing gas in there. I'm trying to breathe. I'm looking over here. I'm not, man, it was just insane. But that to me was probably, you know, I've seen inmates die. I've seen inmates jump off rolls, jump off the top, do a nosedive into concrete. I've seen it all. I've seen inmates. I remember I had this white cellie one time and he was not trying to be where we were. And he was like, man, please, I'll pay you. I'll pay you. Man, I'll pay you. I'll pay you to break my hand. I'm like, what? And we got a shitter brush in prison about that long, got a head on it. He's like, man, just, Red, please, just break my hand. Well, I was broke. I'm gonna bust his hand wide open if I can. And he put it down there like that, and he had a whole bag of commissary. I didn't have hardly anything at that point. He put his hand down there, and I'm looking at it. And I didn't think it would take, I really thought I could just pop it, you know, and it'd break.
Yeah.
And that shit didn't break. He hit it, bam, he hollering, oh, he's looking at it. I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, damn, did it break? You know what I mean? But finally, I read from way back, and I hit him, bow, and that thing swelled up like a biscuit. Immediately. And I got in trouble for that too, but he got out of there. He left me in the field. So, you know, there's a lot of things that happen in prison that are.
Did you ever have to do a job, work in prison? I heard that, you know, I've had people that have been to Ferguson and say they had to pick cotton and stuff like that. Right,
that's the cotton picking unit. Like they got, so on cotton, so when you go, listen, when you get into Ferguson fields, called the fields, right? They, you come out your cell, they line you up at the back gate, and then they march you out through that, and you know, you got your high rider out there with the gun, you can't run. I mean, people think, well, they're letting you out of prison, you ain't going nowhere. But then they give you this is the truth. And picking cotton, man, bro, that is hard. You
had to do it?
Yeah, we did it. I did it many times, many days. And then the sun beating on me. You know, I'm a pale-skinned man, so I'm getting sunburnt. I'm doing everything I can, but they won't help me out because I'm not white like them. Yeah. So I wasn't gonna get out of that.
Red, let me ask you, just as a curiosity, did it ever come to your mind that, like, damn, this is what the slaves had to do back in the day? Did you ever think about that while you was out there?
No. I ain't gonna say I did. I don't even think like that, bro. Like that wasn't on my mind at all.
Did it ever cross your mind?
No, hell no. No, I don't that type of thing don't even cross my thought pattern. Yeah, that wasn't gonna happen. I was thinking how I was picking this shit. And here's what they do. They give you this big old blue, they give you a mattress sack that you sleep on at nighttime. It's the same sack. They cut the top, pull all the stuff out of it, the old ones, I guess, and they give you that. Got a strap on it, and you got to start picking this cotton. You start on your run with everybody else, they're lined up, and you got to do singing cadences or whatever, you know, and we're boom, boom, boom. And it's that cotton don't just pop off there like that. And that cotton, you got thorns in there or something that keep it like, bro, like I'm slow moving, but you got to speed it up. So, but when you get that big sack full, and that's a lot, it's a lot. Once you get it full on the end of your run, it's cotton it looked like it's 10 miles long. In that summer too, oh my God, man. When we're going at it, and when you get your bag full, then you go over to the wagon, you got to drag it, you got to carry it and throw it in the back of another one. Anyway, and get you another sack and take off again. And your hands are bleeding. I never forget it. I remember we was in the fields one day, and this day we wasn't pick. You don't just pick cotton on Ferguson. You hit on it too. And I remember one day this Mexican, it's a true story. Yeah. I remember one day this Mexican said, hey, boss. That's they call him the guard. He's trying to tell him something, and he ain't listening, because you hitting on that ground like that and your hands ain't built for it, they'll bleed real bad. They'll bust. I mean, it's terrible. And you got to get calluses, you know. Anyway, make a long story short, they shot him in his head right there in front of everybody. The Mexican was going toward, I think that was on Telford. Man, I remember where I think that might have been on Ferguson. Anyway, yeah. Whoever in the comments remember where it was, they can tell you. Yeah. So he goes to the officer. He's like, blah, blah, blah. He's talking Spanish. And I never forget that he pulls his gun out. He's like, don't approach me. And I'm saying right here, bro. We're like right there. And we're all working and looking, and he's trying to get at him. Make a long story short, you know, we don't pay attention too much more, but you hear the guard all hollering, and I guess the Mexican didn't understand English. So he walked a little closer to him, and boom, Shot him right between the eyes, man. No bullshit. Whoever was in TDC at the time will tell you that is a true story. Killed that man right in front of us. And everybody, they make us all lay down immediately, strip down and lay down right now. Then they bring this wagon out there and then they take you 4 or 5 or 10 at a time, butt naked in that wagon all the way up the hill. And it was terrible, man. It was terrible. And then we was on lockdown for about a month or 2.
Oh, man. The Mexicans, man. I hear things. Tango Blast. Tongo. What was their situation like while you were there? How did they treat you? Did you have any dealings with them? Were they the worst?
No, not at all. What do you mean the worst? Like what?
Like when it comes to the unified front gangs.
Oh yeah, they was very unified. Let's put it that way. They always are. Mexicans are like that. See, I'm gonna tell you something. We was having a riot one time. Never forget this. These Mexicans was going at each other. I think somewhere in the valley was going at this, and all of a sudden it started off with the brothers involved, and now the Mexicans and the brothers are fighting. They would stop going to war and teamed up to go against the brothers. Like that blew my mind. Mexicans don't play like that, man. They're pretty much, and they're very respectful, most of them. You know what I mean? When you're in prison, that's just how that rolls, man. That Tongo, now, you gotta understand something too. Let me tell you some real shit, man. When I was in prison, I was in the 90s. There wasn't a lot of Tongo that I knew of. It was in the 90s, we had Mexican Mafia, Texas Syndicate, and a lot more that I can go name it. But it wasn't, not toward the end of my stretch, and the time I came back is when I really seen a lot of Tongos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Now, there's, I guess you call it misconception. It's just this thing they put out, I guess you could say in the movies and shit, that a white boy comes into a prison system, weak, small, whatever they, weak-minded, he becomes some
prey.
Yeah, some prey to some black dude. I seen a real story of a guy named Eric, I forget his last name, but he mentioned his first week in prison, he was violated, he was raped, and in which a situation, a black dude put a knife to his neck, and the gay said, hey, it's either your life or it gets down. Of course, the situation happened. He came back a week later, and I don't think he killed him, but he stabbed him. He got his lick back.
He redeemed himself.
But the fact that story is like a story that goes out there, how true to the world is that, as far as a white boy that comes in who by himself, he ain't associated with nothing, he's not no gang member, that he might be.
Well, a lot of times, just be honest with you, let's just keep it real. When the white boys come in, they're definitely prey. But the reason being, and let's get that out, because they didn't grow up that way. All right. And when they get there, they're from other parts of Texas, then, they're just country boys or whatever, good old white boys or whatever. I don't know, but they wasn't built like that. You understand? So when they get there, all races that were in there try to make them pay protection. See, when you walk in the penitentiary, it's fight, fuck, or bust a 50. That was, back then, that was rolling. Like, you really had to do that. And see, I never, you had to be a homosexual to have sex with another man. But believe me, there's men down there that are gangsters that call themselves gangsters, excuse me, and they having sex with men. They ain't never coming home. But the white boy, when he comes in, let me tell you how it really goes, man. The ones that really get it the worst is like the child molesters, right? And the people that hurt older people, like them white boys, and it ain't just white boys by far. Now, they're gonna check it all, and that's why they try to keep it quiet in Ferguson. In prison, they don't really just announce what you're in there for. You have to send a kite home, and then they start screening that now, because it got so bad that they were paying protection. Like, they had to pay to be in there, like every week, bust a 60. They was having to spend that money, and it was real bad in the 90s. In the 90s, you had to pay protection. When I went back in the 2000s, after I got out, they put this rat on the wall. It was for a protective prison program or whatever. And I never forget it. Nowadays, this is how easy prison done got. If you go in there and say, they're trying to make me pay protection or they're trying to do something to me, immediately they come get you. Immediately. You hand that kite to an officer, boom, immediately. Like, they come in, he's packing up, like, where's he going? Oh, they said, and then I'm gonna tell you something else. Whoever they said that was trying to do that, he goes straight to lockdown immediately.
Yeah, you could weaponize that. You could just do that just to fuck with a nigga.
Well, another thing is, a lot of them come in there and want to pay protection. They get a free ride. I mean, they don't care how you feel about it. I ain't got to worry about nothing. As long as they don't disrespect no family, they go over there and do what they want to do. They're kids. They're doing whatever. They don't care about their commissary. All they cared about is their ass and their freedom at the time inside. You know?
What was the rule if you said that's a homosexual that is actually going to go after and pray after whatever it is? Was there any part of the gang units, whether Bloods or Crips, that was on that type of time?
Right. Yeah.
And what happens with their rank within if they have?
Well,
rank?
here's the thing again. So many people come from so many different places. You may have Austin, and you may have San Antonio, and you got Fort Worth. You got Dallas. You know, Fort Worth and Dallas. We've always in prison. We pretty much was together. You know, understand what I'm saying? But you never, as far as. I would think about that myself because, you know, again, you got to remember, I'm white, man, and I'm fighting for me right now. I don't have time for y'all to accept this man after he done had sex with another man and he walks back out there with us. Like, I'll never forget, I ain't putting no names out there, but I was on Telford and I remember punks' names and I remember dudes' names that was doing the thing and they was gang related. And what am I gonna do about it? I mean, if they let him do it, I'm worried about Eastwood, Peru. I'm worried about Funky Town. I'm worried about finding back to my home. If you want to be out of somewhere else and do some gay shit and everybody's accepting it, that's y'all's business. You know, I don't know how they put that into words, bro, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, they do.
I hear they get out. I'm sure you probably ran into someone that you've seen in the pen. I hear they get out and they live false lives.
Right, well, they get out. Well, you know, again, I've been lucky to this day. I've never met one that's home.
Okay.
A lot of them wasn't from Fort. I don't remember nobody from Fort Worth in my remembrance that was having sex with another man and walking with us. But I almost said some names. But they're out there and they claim to be bloody.
Now
they got respect for being bloody. And then all of a sudden they walking their boyfriend to child. Hey, them punks was out of Dallas, Texas. I remember their names, man. I'm trying to tell you this. I'm not. And the dude was out of Abilene, Texas. Shit. And let's go past that.
Yeah, let's get past that.
I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings.
My nigga. There was this, you mentioned, of course, and again, you keeping it real as hell that you've lost fights, you won fights, and towards the end, you was getting even colder to where you stopped losing barely any fights. Well,
I never really just lost a fight terribly.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. Even my first fight, I come from the hood. I had heart. I could fight. And I knew as long as I kept my jab out there, you wasn't going to pass it. Just keep that jab out there. Now, don't get me wrong. They go to wrestling, they pulling whatever. They're in prison, they're going to do it all.
Yeah.
Whatever, all means for survival.
When you hear someone come in and say they've never lost a fight in prison.
You ain't had many.
Is that believable as far as?
No. Hey, yeah, it's believable because they had a reputation where nobody was gonna bother them. No. But when you was on it's a lot of hard hitters coming out of Dallas, Texas. I remember them too. They didn't have to fight. Understand, there's a dude named Tyrone Cotton. Everybody knows him. Man, they better not mess with old Tyrone Cotton. He was about it with them hands. And they knew that. So yeah, I can say that there has been people in prison that has never lost a fight. And again, you're not pressured when you are somebody like that. They're not gonna pressure you unless you disrespected somebody. I remember we was on Telford unit, Tyrone Cotton, and you got two boys. I can't remember the name, but one's a Crip and one's a Blood. I remember that. I remember Tyrone got to be in his cell with his sons, and like Tyrone was a hard hitter. He was a hard hitter, right here, 5-time state champion from what I was told in prison. But I had all kind of number love and respect for him, and you'd never think that man was who he was. He was cold with them hands.
Lockdown is one thing. You ever had to do solitary?
Right, all that. I've been in solitary. Here's the thing, before you go, so what happens is you get into a fight, right? They send you a thing called PhD, that's solitary. Now that's not ad seg. Now ad seg is where you go and you're signed back there to a cell all alone. But that would be somebody that was really I don't even know, you could imagine why you would go there, right? Either killing somebody or on gang fire, some notorious Aryan Brotherhood or what, you know what I mean? Like the old, the gang members that been in prison for 20 years and, they put them back there in segregation. Ad-seg is administrative segregation. But when you get in, like I said, we get into a fight, they'll send you to PhD, which is lockdown. And you got to do like 20, 30 days back there waiting on your major case to flow through. And then they'll decide what they're going to do from there. And again, you don't just have to go to aggravated segregation by fighting. By a certain thing, you could get caught. Here's the thing. In prison, you come in as a minimum custody. And then they have a medium custody. And then they have a closed custody. And then they have segregation, aggravate ad-seg, right? So you don't just jump from here to here. You're going to have to keep continuously fucking up to get to that point. You understand?
How were you making money? How were you? Did you have a hustle, or did you have people on the outside sending you stuff?
Yeah, no, I was part of. Once I found out that you could. And again, I don't feel good about this, but you're asking me, and the thing about this internet is I'm gonna keep it a buck, man.
Please do.
I'm gonna keep it real the whole time I'm on here because I ain't having nobody say nothing that wasn't right. I like to. I was in on the making them pay protection. You understand?
Yeah.
And I mean, I would when I caught me a weak link, I'd have no money, man, and I would. You didn't even have to, a lot of times they were so weak, you wouldn't have to fight them. You just take them under your wing. And basically, now ain't no booty shit. Wasn't no gang, gay, nothing. I would take them under my wing and then we would, you could sell them. You could sell them. After so long, you could sell them to another race or to whatever or whoever, and they would buy them.
What's the cost? What's the going rate for protection? What's the going?
60. You always want to let him eat. At the end of the day, man, you want to let them have their food too because you want to keep them. What you got to understand is it's like a hustle. Like you want to keep them. You don't want to do them so bad that they don't want to and they want to leave. You want to keep them right there and just keep everybody off of them. You understand? That's the difference, man. It wasn't like, and I was never the one that wanted everything. Like, man, I was good with, I think out of a $60 spend, I get 30. I get half, you get half. And that was good because most of the people didn't give them nothing. You know what I mean? Like they were sitting there starving, and I didn't understand that because this was like a job. Like I had to protect him, and I'm gonna protect him with my fucking life because he's paying me to make that happen.
You took the job serious.
Yeah, the ones that was in the 90s, it was a serious job.
Yeah,
and don't get me wrong, it wasn't like you just had to do it every day. But them type of youngsters are not that were them type of people that was in that position. They could let their mouth overload their ass real quick and have you in all types of problems.
Yeah.
You done disrespected the Mexicans over here and it's your boy. Who you think they coming at? They ain't coming at your boy. They're coming for you because now you let him, he did too much. So that was kind of my hustle, I never really had a lot, but I was like anybody else and everybody else. We had to make something out of nothing.
Yeah. Man, that's some real shit. Damn it. Did you have any skills in prison? Would you say, I see that everybody technically has like a skill. Did you ever learn a skill? Did you ever pick up anything? Did you ever?
No, my only skill, I learned how to play handball real good, so I had that little bit of a skill. I played handball real good, actually. That was one of my favorite pastimes. I learned how to tattoo in prison.
Were you good at it?
Right, yeah, I could build a tattoo gun out of a little bit of nothing, a relay and a pen. We're in there, you know what I mean? So I skint a lot of people up doing that. Yeah. And, I got a little better at that over time. Got out of prison and tattooed for a long time. I even carried a homemade tattoo gun around with me. And that's another chapter in my life,
I would ask real quick, how was, you served your time? I mean, what got you out and how was getting out as far as your transition to getting out?
What do you mean? Like what got my mind right?
Yeah. So basically, the first question is, did you serve your 50%? What'd you do to get out? I
served it all. You served on both times I went down because again, once you're gang related like I was and blah blah blah, you it wasn't gonna be coming home no time soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
I already knew I was gonna be locked up because I wasn't gonna accept nothing. When he was in there sharpening, I was in there sharpening. So when you're hearing the shh down there, you're hearing the shh up here. Good. And they already knew I wasn't gonna give up like that. Like I've been in positions actually that bad.
How was getting out as far as who was there waiting for you and how was your transition to the freeway?
I came home alone again. I had my papa waiting on me. I was a blessing, but I didn't have nobody. First time I didn't have nobody. I remember getting out at the Walls unit. I was scared to jaywalk. Everybody else took off walking across the street. I stood there and waited.
Oh man.
You know what I mean? They got down to the little area where the Greyhounds are. They took out they gave us $200 then. You get 100 when you leave and then 100 when you see your parole officer. But I got my whole 200. And I did my whole time. So they had no parole officer.
Yeah.
And I remember they drinking 40s and I wouldn't touch none of that. I was so nervous. I did not want to go back to prison. You know what I mean? Like once you get out and you really find a purpose to stay out, you change your mind, your whole frame, your whole idea of life.
Yeah, what you were before you went in, the young man you were, that mentality
well,
is
you're
all
the
the way
same thing
gone.
as you was when you went into prison, but you come out with a better mentality.
I see.
You understand? You come out, I even told myself, the first time I got out, I told myself, man, I went in as a criminal. I came out as a better criminal. Like I know everything now. People telling me that I had a cookbook to cook. No, I had this. Like I knew it all now because everybody gave me everything. Got all the game.
You went in knowing how to steal cars. You come out. You come out like nigga. I know
right. And now I got out the second time on that time though. I got out. Then I come home with that iron. It was the same night. I was all parole. I didn't have nothing. I didn't have no time to do. So, hey, I'm on the horn. I need something heavy right now.
Come on, that's real. Red, let me ask you real quick because, out of Fort Worth too, we got another guy who has, transcended the city and went around the world preaching against gang members and things of that nature by the name of Charleston White.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
He's out of your section. I don't know about Eastwood, but he's out of Fort Worth.
Yeah, and I don't think so. At this point in my life, I don't even think he's from Fort Worth, but go ahead.
Yeah, what is your thoughts on his message that he's trying to present as far as everyone who was gang banging and all the gang bangers that ever did it?
No, I don't really have anything good to say about that man. For one, I'm gonna say this, and I've said this in other videos, but I have to make this clear. I'm a real OG. I'm a real gangster. Now wait, I'm laid back, I'm cool, I'm good with it, but I ain't never sat in the room with the DEA. I ain't never sat in the room with the FBI, and I would never sit in the room with him. You understand what I'm saying? You couldn't pay me enough money to sit in there with him.
Why not? Is it because the rap moniker, the snitching?
That's the biggest thing. Well, the reason that, I have a personal problem with him. He came to my neighborhood, and of course I was in California at the time, and God's good that I was there. I may have crashed out that day, but he was talking about ain't nothing but bitches and hoes in Eastwood, ain't no real gangsters, ain't nobody gonna do nothing. And he was talking about my partner that passed away. You know what I'm saying? And his name's Pee Wee, and I love him with all my heart. And the way he talked about him just was. So I'm gonna say this again: fuck Charleston White, and I stand firm by fuck Charleston White. And I hope that you want me to one day. I know he's gonna, when he gets wind of this type of stuff, he wants to spit box. I wish he'd really box me in the ring. I'm 50, he's 50. I'm out of his weight class, but I will drop 100 pounds. I'll start running right now. I'll run from here to Fort Worth right now if that man will give me a battle. I want him. I want him so bad. But then again, one thing we ain't doing is when he's not threatening you, Charlie. Yeah. We're not threatening you. I'm just telling you.
You want to humble him? Or what's the goal? You want to humble him? What's the goal?
Yeah, I want to swell him up. I just want him to understand that there is real gangsters, and I realize he plays a joke with everybody, right? He's out here with this Confederate on, and he's laughing and joking. Well, I don't take that. I take that serious too. As all my partners are black, and I don't that Confederate. What are you doing, man? And then when you downgrading black women, I even heard on the talk show the other day on K104, I think, where they talking about him, where he said that if we had a black woman president, we might as well be slaves or something, right? But how are you doing this, man? Do you not have a black mama? You don't have black sisters? And again, I'm on your ass. And I ain't letting up. And I want you to come at me hard as you can. I want to be every white, every racist. I don't care. Just know I'm on your ass.
And lastly, do you have any war wounds that still stick with you from prison? Any physical war wounds?
Yeah, I got a couple, but I can't show them. Because they're on my legs. I got stabbed in the leg right here in prison. After I knocked him out, he hit me, stuck me right here in Misconduct. I never forget that. First time I'd ever got stabbed. Oh, other than that, only wounds I got's up here.
That's real. Now, we do these prison stories, man. We don't do it to glorify prison.
Right.
We actually do it to try to educate, man. And again, you're the first white boy I had on the platform to even speak for that side, as they've been asking, like, can we speak for someone on the other side? But if you don't mind, can you give a little bit of game to the young men who, let's say you could talk to your 15, 16-year-old self and you was out there getting to it, never did no jail time.
See, that's my goal. That's my mission now. See, I'm on a whole nother mission. Again, coming from Fort Worth, we done lost a lot on both sides. Game to a young man is this. You can, again, let's say this before I get into that. Yeah. An OG, right? An OG, that's a powerful word for me. The OG. He had to have been someone that's been down that road, right? An OG is like a foundation to a home. You can't put a house on that without a firm foundation. You know, if the youngsters nowadays would give us a chance to talk, to communicate, to understand, and to really go mentally understand what we went through, I think that would change them. I think that would help them. Because at the end of the day, a lot of these youngsters, their daddy may be in prison or they may not even have a daddy, you know, or whatever the situation may be. But if we could give them knowledge, and what I mean by knowledge is not the blueprint of gangbanging, all right? We'll leave that, put that over here for a second. We're talking about how to stay free, how to save the next man. You know, people get real excited over little bitty things and go kill somebody. You understand? And if I could help in any kind of way, just to relate to them, to sit down and explain to them, they really need to know like what prison is really about. A lot of times these youngsters out here talking about, I hear them all the time. Man, I need a body. Don't give me a body. They get their respect that way, you know, and other people respect them that way. You don't have to go that hard. You don't have to do them things that peer pressure to be solid. You know what I mean? You don't have to be a follower, be a leader, have your own thing going. You know what I mean? And stay firm, stay solid, and be you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. If as you're speaking to, you know, those that is listening, and again, yes, they need to listen to the OGs because again, y'all been down that road.
Yeah, nowadays they don't even expect an OG, man. A lot of cliques and people, they don't even have an OG. And then you got a 19-year-old, and he's a soldier, he's a gangster, he probably put in a lot of work, but he's the OG. And that right there in itself, back up and look at it, homie, you're not even at the age to become an OG. You ain't been down that road long enough. You know, a lot of people think you don't, and it necessarily don't have to be an age thing, okay? It can be wisdom, it can be knowledge, it can be guidance, it can be an understanding, but you have to be that person to be an OG. You understand where I'm coming from?
Come on, without question. Without question. Man, now it's real, man. What I like to do, because again, Red, as far as you getting out, we try to have these conversations. This is just more so an introduction to the platform for you, man. So, you know, I know there's so many more stories to go through, but in the meantime, for those that do want to follow your journey while you free, you know what I'm saying? You out here, you taking care of your kids, you're supporting your family. Are you on the internet? Are you on social media? Can they follow you? Can they see what you got going on?
Right. Well, I'm just now, again, it's so hard on me. You know, it's sad, but it's hard for me to work these phones. I done got so old, I'm not really, but I am on YouTube. We're trying to get that started off, and that's OG Red Dawg with 2 G's, and it's DAWG, so it'll be OG RED DAWGG. Yeah. And then I'm also on Instagram. Yeah. And again, I haven't really put a lot forward into this, right? This kind of started out as
it's new to you. I mean, and that's why I thank you so much, because again, you put in the work in Fort Worth.
Right.
And now you be able to, you did your time, you know, you paid your debt to society. And for you to go back, you're speaking to the youth right now. So that's why we appreciate over here. So please go ahead.
Right on. And that's that is exactly my goal. No matter what. But at the end of the day, I also want to say this, man. Like, there's something I definitely want to say, man. There is really a real white Paru. I want you to know that. This is not a joke.
Ain't a ghost story.
This is not a joke. Hey, I didn't even realize it was important until they started wanting to interview me. Like, I'm so lost in the sauce with this because that's me. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? I'm very blessed that people want to know.
Yeah, the fact that you exist, you survived it because you could be 6 feet under somewhere.
Right.
And the story would never got told.
Definitely.
But you exist, you made it through.
That I hear now that there's so much going on out there, but I am the one.
Come on.
I am the one. I am the one.
With that being said, I gotta say, man, Red Dawg, the only white Pyru that I know. So I'm born and raised in the city and state. So
Right.
with that being said, I gotta say,
and you know another thing, the comments gonna tell the truth. You understand that? See, that's another thing, man. A lot of people make comments, but you can't say that you made, from you out of somewhere else, you don't know. You just don't know.
Yeah.
Funky Town, Texas, they know me. And again, it ain't nothing but love. It ain't nothing but love. I'm from Eastwood, Pyru, but I represent Fort Worth, Texas. I love each and every one of y'all, no matter where you come from. And you know it. They know it. I got partners on every side.
Let's go, man.
Ain't nothing but mad love and respect.
There you go, man. Eastwood representative, man. Red Dawg, Prison Stories 101, man. I salute you, bro. Let's go.
Right on.